All right, boys and girls, let's get after it, shall we? Welcome in. The Rob Brown Show's on your radio. It is the Fan Upstate. Howdy, y'all. Great to be with you again. Happy Tuesday, America. What's shaking? How's everybody? Having a good week, I hope. I have a question. You know, I 25 minutes, Lonzo. 25 minutes before that game got Tom Brady last night. I sent out a tweet that said this game has big Brady scores a touchdown in the final seconds to beat us vibes. And I'm just going to go ahead and prepare myself to accept that reality that I'm getting Brady'd.
You know, the sad part is I fell asleep and the Saints were still winning. And I saw your tweet this morning. I'm like, what? And so I had to go and yeah, it didn't turn out the way I thought it would.
I grew up with and you are going to have to all listen to my existentialism for just a minute. Deal with it. I grew up a fan, Lonzo, of a football team that was garbage. And I grew up a fan of a football team that we all knew was garbage. I grew up with a football team that we all knew was pathetic. And it just became something kind of endearing, right? Like it just became something that it just was what it was. A Saints game on Sunday was more about the social environment than it was about the football game. Like we'd win one every now and then, and we'd have a little fun. But the majority of time you got together to watch a Saints game, you got together because it gave you an excuse to get together, right? You come from a family that doesn't need an excuse to party, but will take one anyway. The Saints were just that. An excuse to get together on Sundays, make some red beans, eat some Popeyes, drink some whiskey and beer, and relax, man. And relax. And then the Saints had a few years they were pretty good. Won a Super Bowl over Peyton Manning. Had a couple of runs through the NFC. Made an NFC championship game in 2009 against Chicago. Probably should have gotten a crack at Brady, but a missed pass interference call against the Rams kept us out. And then we kind of hit what was obviously the closing of the window, right? Sean Payton quits. And I get that he retired, but he didn't. He quit on the team, right? And I'm not mad at him for it. I get it. He can do his own thing. But he quit on the team.
Would you rather he just died in the job rather than, I mean,
no, I'm saying, again, like I said, I'm not mad at him, but it still is what it is. He saw the writing on the wall. He saw that there were going to be a few difficult years for New Orleans to get through. He was going to have to get something figured out. And it was going to be a struggle. And he didn't want to go through that. And again, I get it, right? Sean Payton is a Super Bowl winning coach. Sean Payton is a Super Bowl winning coach. It was always going to take him it was always going to take a job that made him a threat to keep him on board as a Super Bowl winning coach. I get that he walked away because it was obvious that it was going to be a 4-year, 5-year reset if the Saints are going to be competitive again. He knew we weren't going to have a quarterback that was good enough. He knew that defensively we had lost some of our most important tools. That wasn't going to be good enough. I got no problem with Sean Payton quitting, but I'm not going to call it anything other than what it was. So we go with Dennis Allen, a man who now has a head coaching record of 12-32 in his career. And what exactly in the hell was that last night? What was that? Can anybody explain the thought processes, the decision-making out of that football team last night when they had Brady beat? When they had him beat. You had gotten a couple of turnovers off of him. You had taken a Tampa Bay team that had gotten into the red zone and walked away with nothing but 3 points early and nothing else since then. And then you get yourself into a spot where it's third down and what? 7, third down and 8. You already had Mark Ingram get hurt. You already had Mark Ingram's knee go bad on him earlier in the day. And so you get yourself in a position where you want to throw a little out route screen to a running back. Alvin Kamara is right there on your team. And you put in Mark Ingram with his busted knee. He has a first down, except for because of reasons that I don't think anyone will ever be able to explain to me. Mark Ingram, Zoe, dives out of bounds a foot short of the sticks and makes it 4th and 1. If he takes literally 2 more steps and gets the first down, the game's over. It's over. You kneel it out on him. But what does he do? Oh, my knee, coach. And dives out 1 yard short. Now it's 4th and 1. It's 4th and 1. The game is on the line. You're inside of their territory. You're at like their 45. What do you do in that situation? Honestly, what do you do in that situation? You QB sneak it or you give it to the biggest running back you got and you run the ball. How many times have you heard a head coach say, if you can't run it for a yard, you don't deserve to win? What did the Saints do? Sorry, this is on 3rd and 1. On 3rd and 1. On 2nd and 1, they can't get the first down because Mark Ingram is unaware of where the sticks are and doesn't get to him. On 3rd and 1, they decide to run a pass play. Knowing that Tampa has men in the box because they're preparing to stop the run, what kind of pass play do we decide to run? A 3-level play action pass that takes time to establish, time to set up. Take time to run through the check, take time to run through the fake handoff, take time to run through the spin, take time to run through the 3 levels of routes. Then they throw a little seam route to Taysom. And in fairness, Taysom should have caught the football, hit him in the hands. He took a big shot, but you still got to catch that ball. Tay drops the ball. It's now 4th and 1. Do you go get the first down now? No. You punt to Tom Brady. My NFL power rankings, Lonzo, Tampa Bay in the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd quarters is ranked about 27th in the league right now. Tampa Bay in the final 3 minutes of a game is ranked 3rd in the NFL. We just give the ball back to a man who is known for exactly this type of game. It's what he does. He drives down, he scores, we get the ball back. What do we do this time around? Same stupid ass thing. Dumb play calling, get to their side of the field, punt it again. What did they do this time? Guess. Drive the length of the field, score a touchdown with 6 seconds left to play and win the game. So it's one thing to lose, right? It's one thing to lose. Every football team is going to lose. Nobody in the NFL goes perfect. You ever been embarrassed by your team before, though? Do you understand scrolling social media last night was a legitimately embarrassing experience for me last night? One of the NFL Net guys said, I didn't think that I would ever see Cooper Kupp's slide and Sean McVay's time management topped in terms of the biggest way to absolutely choke away a game. And then the Saints hit a grand slam on how to do just that. Like, honestly, we might as well have just forfeited the damn game and not wasted my time.
So would you rather they came out and played this way from the beginning of the game rather than looking like almost decent for a while? And
almost decent. The game was in control for 3 3/4 quarters. 3 3/4 quarters. Let me tell you how that night ended for me. Third quarter starts. We got done with the show yesterday, got done with the air yesterday. I left here. We went home. We did the Views from Mint Street podcast. About 5:30, the lady friend got home. And our whole plan yesterday was, let's get the Christmas tree up, right? So even in the rain.
Looks good, by the way.
Thanks. We did a good job. Even in the rain, we went out. We got our Christmas tree. We came home. I ran up the lights. She hung up the decorations, right? I made us a big old pot of red beans and rice. I got some whiskey to make our Christmas cocktails with. So I got the lights run before kickoff. She's hanging the ornaments on the tree after kickoff. It gets to be the end of the third quarter. The Saints have this game in hand, and Courtney goes, hey, I'm going to go lay down in bed, finish your game. You know where I'll be. Like, all right, see you in a few. Love you. Bye. So she goes and lay down because she's 85 and she likes to do crossword puzzles for about an hour before she goes to sleep. But hey, live your best life.
You should never criticize someone who indulges in working their brain before going to sleep.
I know. She's got me into him now, too. But she loves her crossword puzzles. So she goes to bed to do her crossword puzzles. I'm finishing the game. And the game finishes, and the Saints lose in an insanely embarrassing fashion. And it was one of those games, Lonzo, that, like, even though I had accepted the outcome of the game an hour before it happened, because the writing was just on the wall, the game ended, and I just reached over as though I grabbed the remote, I clicked off the television, and then I just sank down on the couch with a full glass of whiskey and some Cajun sausage to try to console myself. Just sank back in the couch. No TV. I turned off the Christmas tree lights. I couldn't look at it, right? I didn't feel like getting my gunk all over the Christmas tree. I didn't feel like bringing the negativity that was festering within me onto the Christmas tree, so I turned it off. And the house is dead silent. The dog's not even walking around, right? And I just hear from the back room, how in the hell did you guys lose? She was scrolling her social media before she went to bed. She saw the final score, a score that we were leading by 13 points when she went to bed with only a handful of minutes left to play. She saw we lost and she goes, how the hell did you guys lose? And I'm like, football, we're stupid. It's not even that we're bad. The roster's got enough talent on it to win. We've already won. It's not that we're bad talent-wise. I said it is just bad clock management. It's bad play calling. It's just bad everything top to bottom. I said, I don't know how else to put this. even as a dude whose job it is to break this stuff down on the radio, the only reason we lost, Lonzo, is because we are stupid as hell. That's it. There's no other reason. We're dumb.
There was a word that was coined a few years ago that applies to what happened last night. It's called Clemsoning. And that's what
we Clemson hard.
The Saints engaged in Clemsoning. That's what they did.
They did. We Clemsoned all over ourselves. There's no other description of it. Like you, for the record, you go back and listen to this radio station. I have, since I moved here, never used the phrase Clemsoning. I've never used it. Because I think it's at a place it's overused and it's a little weak. I've never used it. But the Saints Clemsoned last night. They Clemsoned hard. They had Tampa Bay beat, and instead of just doing basic football, know where the sticks are, right? Know where the first down marker is. That ends the game. When you've got them on 2nd and 1, 3rd and 1, 4th and 1 in their territory, ice the game. What is the point of punting, Lonzo, from their 45-yard line? Oh, and by the way, do you know what happened on the punt? It was a touchback. A touchback. We advanced the ball 20 yards. We turned over 20 yards of field position. A first down ends the game, but we didn't have the balls to try it. So instead, we punted into the end zone and took away 20 yards of field from Tom Brady. We're like, oh yeah, 20 more yards ought to do it with 1:47 on the clock. 20 yards? We should have Lane Kiffined him. We should have Herm Edwards Dennis Allen last night. Hey, DA, come down and talk to me. Don't you want to get in the locker room first? No, you're good. Do me a favor. You see that team issue jacket you got on right now? Why don't you hand that to me? Yeah, no. The visor too. Take them shoes off, DA, because you don't own them no more. You can keep the socks. We don't want them back. That was the most outright. And so we have lost some games where we just got beat at the end, where we got out-talented at the end, where somebody made a magnificent play against us in the end. The Minnesota Miracle, right? Never forget that play. Gave up a Hail Mary touchdown in a playoff game on the last play of the game. I'll never forget that play. But at least we got beat, right? At least somebody made a magical play that will live on in NFL memory. And as much as I don't want to relive it, it was worth reliving. You know what the suck part about this is the most, Lonzo, and then I'll shut the hell up about it, is that today you and I and everybody else are going to be subjected to about 6 hours of, look how amazing Tom is. The GOAT did it again. 14 points in 3 minutes to beat their divisional rival. Tom is the goatiest GOAT. When anybody who watched that game recognized that Tom Brady didn't do boat. He sucked. For 3.5 quarters, he sucked. And then the Saints decided to just drop one right on the 20 and roll around in it. How do you react when your team embarrasses you? This has been a while. Losing is losing, Lonzo, but losing because you embarrassed yourself is a different breed of cat, man. It's a different breed of cat. I just don't understand it. I don't understand it. I don't get it. I don't know why it happened. What went wrong that we collectively absolutely boated the field last night And then we're going to let Tom Brady be celebrated today like he freaking did something. 3 3/4 of that game, Brady sucked. And then for 0.25% of that game, Brady was Brady. Oh, look what he did to the Saints. It's like, dude, no, we did it to ourselves. And then he was just there to pick off the bones. I don't know how to handle this. Not the loss. The loss is fine. We're bad. We're going to lose. The embarrassment of the leadership of that program that made a laundry, like, hey, Zoe, you remember old Jericho when he went through the list of 1,001 holds?
Yes.
And he pulled out the paper and it was like across the ring. And he's like, number 1, arm bar. Number 2, like, remember how long that list was that he enrolled?
It was a very long list. Yes.
If I wrote down the list of mistakes that Dennis Allen and Pete Carmichael made as the head coach and offensive coordinator of the Saints last night, I would need more paper than Jericho brought to the ring to finish it. How do you handle that? How do you, like, how am I supposed to go? Yeah. No. I'll invest 3 more hours into that. I'm glad we're on the bye week, Lonzo, because I don't think I have it in me to watch another Saints game this weekend. Yo, I was wrapped in a Saints blanket when I was born. I have a fleur-de-lis tattooed on my back. I have been a diehard, ride-or-die Saints fan since I was literally born. And I think this is the first time in a long time that if the Saints play this weekend, I don't think I'd watch. I really don't think I'd watch. Because it's one thing to go thick and thin, right? I watch my team when they lose. They lost a few. I'm back. It's football. It's how it works. We didn't lose, Lonzo. We put that game on a silver platter. We sprinkled some cinnamon on top. We dressed it up real nice and pretty. We kneeled at the feet of Brady, and we asked what other services could we provide for or on him while he enjoyed his win.
All right, during the break, I'm going to give Kyrie Irving a call and get him in here with some sage and get rid of all this negativity in his room because, along with the dreary day outside, you're just bringing me down, man.
But I'm not wrong.
No, you're not.
But that's the part that sucks. Like, I've talked to a lot of fans after their teams lose, and they're like, I'm done. And I'm like, you got to relax. Everybody's going to lose. You lost a tough game. Zoe's team lost a real tough game this weekend.
Yeah.
Zoe, you walking away from the Chiefs?
No.
No. You know why? Because they didn't embarrass you. They played a hell of a football game, and they lost to a good football team. It happens. We played 3.5 quarters of a hell of a football game against a very mid team, and then we just Clemsoned all over ourselves with stupid decision after stupid decision after stupid decision after stupid decision after stupid decision. Dennis Allen, you just made the list. All right, that's enough of me talking about me for now. College football talk when we come back on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. Having trouble streaming to the Facebook page.
No, it's fixed now. You fixed it.
Yeah, now it's saying it again.
Is it?
Yep.
Why is it only the fan page? Is someone else trying to do something? Or has it been hacked? Or what's going on? So far, Kevin, you're right. They got the bye right now. Still got a few games left, though.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And by the way, you know what Saints fans don't get to do right now? Well, at least our draft pick got better. No, it didn't. The Eagles did. The Eagles are 11-1, the NFC Super Bowl favorite, and have a top 5 draft pick because of us right now. So, everything is awesome, guys. I hate everything. We have helped return over $1 billion to businesses, and we can help you too. Just go to getrefunds.com/sports, click on Qualify Me, and answer a few questions.
This payroll tax refund is only available for a limited period of time. Don't lose out on up to $26,000.
It's got me curious as to why it's just the fan page.
Let's face it, credit cards are pretty much a necessity.
New tires for the car? Here's my card.
I order takeout, here's my card. And most of us just accept the high interest rates credit cards charge as a necessary evil.
What are you going to do?
Get a low fixed rate credit card consolidation loan from Lightstream from $5,000 to $100,000 and pay off those credit card balances. Apply online.
It isn't like Kansas City doesn't know what it's like to not have, the first round bye or home field because they lost it last year thanks to Cincinnati, and then Tennessee had it. So, we'll see what an angry Kelsey is like. I can't wait to see that. I've seen him perturbed before. He might go off and have 5 touchdowns in one game. It could happen, James. The game the Panthers should fear the most that they have left, I've been saying on the Views from Mint Street for a while now, is Detroit.
A sinking foundation can cause you to make quick decisions that could be wrong. Travis Betson, owner of C&T Foundations.
Many of our clients come to us after a bad experience with another company. From high-pressure sales techniques to misinformation, we've heard it all. If you're facing foundation problems, take a breath and take time to get a second opinion. We offer free estimates and reliable advice.
Call 864-581-3341. C&T Foundations, your foundation experts.
Yeah, Detroit's that team that he's like, oh yeah, they're Detroit, but they're not. I mean, they're pretty tough. See, the problem with that, Kevin, is, some people melt down and it's considered passion. Other people melt down and it's considered immaturity. I think it just depends on what media is covering it at the time. Patrick Mahomes slammed his helmet down. I don't recall ever seeing him do that. And I'm excited about that because I think he's going to be more focused. Don't worry about Rob. He's going to be all right. He's going to bounce back because we're going to go outside of our wheelhouse and talk college football. We're less passionate about that, so.
I don't want to talk NFL anymore. All right, no more NFL talk today. I'm just over it. Don't want to do it.
Unless Baker gets picked up by someone, because then I'll have to break that news because,
Got until 4 o'clock.
Yep.
4 p.m. deadline for Bake to be picked up off of waivers.
Although Schefter did just tweet that don't be surprised if it's not San Francisco that picks him up.
Houston. I'll tell you, actually, you know who I think?
The Rams are going to do it, and then they're going to laugh about it. They are.
That's my thought, too. That's what I was just about to say. Houston kind of makes sense, right? Although not really at the same time. Like, kind of what's the point?
Yeah, if you're Baker, you go, you know what? I retire.
Yeah, I mean, if somebody picks him up, the only option is to just not play. The only option is to just not play. So, my question is, My question is, if you're the Rams, do you pick him up and roster him just so San Francisco cannot? And I think the answer is an obvious yes. If you're the Rams, you pick up Baker and you roster him so that San Francisco can't. Listen, I'm not saying that Baker would show up in San Francisco and be able to have the success, air quote, that Jimmy Garoppolo had. But keep in mind, it was not Jimmy Garoppolo that was winning San Francisco games. It was the San Francisco defense keeping absolutely everybody to nothing offensively that wins them games. They just need Jimmy G to go get them about 12 points and they win the game. Baker can do that, right? The LA Rams depth chart right now. Quick. Matt Stafford's on IR. Quick. Rob Brown Show Home Edition. Who is the starting quarterback for the LA Rams right now? Lonzo, we've been talking about this 2 days. Got a guess?
Cole Bryson.
Good guess, but no. As of today, it would be John Wolford. John Wolford, however, was listed as a non-participant on Monday's practice because of a neck injury. So John Wolford may not get to go, which means that their backup quarterback that would have to start this weekend is Bryce Perkins. Bryce Perkins gonna get the nod.
What school did Bryce play for?
Virginia.
When?
2 years ago.
Okay.
I mean, he's a young cat. He's 25. So far this year, he's thrown for 161, 1 touch, and 2 picks, and a QBR of 25. Yes, Baker is better than anybody the Rams. Actually, that's where he's going. I'll go ahead and say it. That's where he's going. He's going to LA. He's a Rams. By 4 o'clock today, Baker Mayfield will be hopping a flight upon his well-insured jet airliner and skipping to the left coast to take over Sean McVay's offense, which, by the way, is going to go very, very poorly. Very, very poorly. Because Sean McVay's offense is big and open and complicated. And there were a lot of folks in Charlotte saying it was taking Baker some time to learn Ben McAdoo's playbook. I don't mean this is a shot at Ben McAdoo. But whose offense do you think is going to be more difficult for Baker Mayfield to learn in a week? Sean McVay's or Ben McAdoo's?
I'm just going to guess that Sean McVay would, I don't want to say dumb down, but change how things go to use the talent that he's been given with Baker if he got Baker. There's no way Baker goes in and starts the very first week he gets claimed. It would be at least another week. So he gets what, 3 games, maybe 4, depending on where they are in their bye week.
We'll see who the Rams got coming up, just because I'm curious now. Let's see who the LA Rams have coming up on the schedule. They are at after 6 consecutive losses for the defending Super Bowl champions, including, by the way, an L to the New Orleans Saints. That's how bad they are. They got the Raiders this weekend. Then they hit the bye. Then they're at Green Bay, back home for Denver, and they wrap it up with a 2-gamer on the road at the LA Chargers and then at Seattle. The Rams are 3-9. Their season's over, right? That season's over.
Wouldn't be if they were in the NFC South. They'd be right in the thick of things.
Into the thick of it. Let's see. Have they played Tampa? They did. Tampa beat them as well with a stellar 16-13 win. I hate the NFL, man. I hate the NFL this year. I really do. So Baker Mayfield has until 4 o'clock today to end up on a team because of waiver wire claim. If he is not on a team by 4 p.m., then he will become a free agent. If a team picks him up off waivers, they are responsible for the duration of his contract, which is basically this year to the tune of like $1 million and some change. There really is no reason, frankly, for the Rams to pick up Baker Mayfield, except to keep San Francisco from getting him, right? There's no reason for them to grab them, except it's to make San Francisco's life that much more difficult. These two teams, by the way, Zoe, don't play each other again. They don't play each other again. The Niners beat the Rams in week 4, 24-9, and they beat the Rams in week 7, 31-14. So because you don't have to play them again, there's literally no reason for the Rams to get Baker Mayfield. Kyle Shanahan said that a move for Baker Mayfield would, quote, surprise him, end quote. Said that they're perfectly happy with where they are in that room right now. I don't believe that.
What's he mean by a move? He can't do anything.
Hey, you just grab him off the waivers.
Well, but he knows that. He knows, and why would you show interest so another team could do exactly what we're saying and pick Baker up just so you can't? So of course you got to show, yeah, whatever. We're good. Purdy's our guy.
Everybody knows Brock Purdy's name. Ding, 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 ding.
Everyone knows it now.
Yeah. Beat the Dolphins. He outdueled Tua Tagovailoa. All right. So that's where we are with the Baker scenario. What an exciting time where the Baker Mayfield at Carolina Panthers went awesome, everybody. Awesome. All right.
You know what? It did bother me this morning. I was watching one of the shows and they were talking about how Baker wasn't good enough to start for the Panthers. And I'm like, wait a minute. He won the starting job. He just lost it when Steve Wilks came along. And Steve Wilks had some interesting comments about that. But you know what? You'll have to wait till the next Views from Mint Street podcast to hear about it.
Out of 521 qualified QB seasons since the statistics started being tracked, Baker Mayfield has a total QBR of 18.2. Out of 521 qualified seasons, that is ranked number 520. The only qualified season worse than Baker Mayfield's 18.2 was back in 2010 when Jimmy Clausen had a 13.8 season for the Carolina Panthers. I believe the term the kids use is woof. Let's take a break. We'll come back. You got any thoughts on all this? We're going to get to it here in just a little while. Transfers everywhere. The portal is hype. DJ has a gaggle of Tigers joining him. Last night, South Carolina lost the guy that I consider one of their best players to the transfer portal. We'll take a look at all those when we come back on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate.
Touchdown passes in the final 3 minutes Monday night, helping the Tampa Bay Buccaneers rally from the
deficit to beat the New Orleans Saints 17-16. That tightens Tampa's grip on first place in the NFC South. The 7-time Super Bowl champion tossed a 1-yard touchdown pass to rookie Cade Otton that finished a 91-yard drive to pull within 16-10 with exactly 3 minutes left.
I could salvage this. I'm trying to figure out the right way to do it. I don't know.
Rookie Rashaad White with 3 seconds remaining on the clock. Brady 36 of 54 passing, 281 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Andy Dalton 20 of 28 passing, 229 yards and a touchdown for the Saints. Dalton connected with Taysom Hill on the touchdown. Catch every Carolina Panthers game live on Classic Rock 101.1. Download the Odyssey app and search the Fan Upstate. Then listen anywhere on your phone. I'm Chuck Sanders, and that's your Sports Flash on the Fan Upstate.
My partners had told me I should get my knee replaced. I was in my 40s, and I decided that I wouldn't do that.
That's orthopedic surgeon Dr.
You
John.
know, I got up this morning and was feeling a little depressed, a little down on myself, and then I got to work and realized life's pretty good. It is. Getting to talk about kids games on the radio.
Today, you'll find Dr. Herzog at QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in this exciting field of medicine that can give lasting pain relief with no downtime, no drugs, and no surgery.
I don't know how to console though. I know how to cheer up to a certain degree. I know how to anger, but consoling, that's not my thing. So, and I don't know what to do.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters at a time. The type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home. This is the lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Have some friends and family in town for the holidays? Show them a good time, great scratch food, and even better scenic views at Twin Peaks. With plenty of shareable things on the menu, this is the place for holiday gatherings. Contact your favorite Twin Peaks.
Keep in mind, Stephen, it's winter in South Carolina. This is what we get. Rain, which I prefer over the alternative, which would be snow. No, thank you.
Listen to In the Huddle, available on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Kansas City Steak Company, another AmericanEagle.com success story. Started in 1932 as a family-owned butcher shop, today they're a leading distributor of superior all-American steaks delivered right to your door, ready for the grill and your table.
If he doesn't come back soon, I'm going to come back from break and we're going to sing show tunes just to cheer everyone up. All right, I got to admit, I'm not quite sure I know any show tunes. Are songs from musicals show tunes? A minute. So if you sing a song from Wizard of Oz, would that be like a show tune? Or does it have to be like from Broadway? I don't know. Because if it's from that, I'm not quite sure that I would know what to do. Like, I don't know the theme from Cats, but I could probably make it up.
From the Ingalls Market Studio,
Maybe. I don't know. I do know that Rob's not in here and it's time to come back from break. I'm not Garth. I will talk before the bet ends if he's not back in here. It's not a show tune, is it? I don't know.
Wrapping up hour number 1 of the Rob Brown Show. Rob, Lonzo, you. Be a part of the show. 844-GSP-ESPN, 844-326-3663. The Preferred Home Services text line is 71307, 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N, FAN, F-A-N. If you want to get your stuff read on the air, you can text it to 71307, and we will read it on the air. Text says, remember at the start of the season when Panther fan was talking up Baker? Well, Pepperidge Farm remembers. So was I. I really thought that you were going to get something special out of Baker Mayfield. I thought that he was not being given enough credit for what happened in Cleveland. And I don't think that thinking Baker was going to be that guy is like a crazy thing to have considered, right? He showed you in Denver in Cleveland he could do it. He took a team that drafted him a season after winning a game to the playoffs. Took them to the playoffs. One game they had won before that. And he did so, granted, with some level of talent around him, but it wasn't like it was a roster filled with Pro Bowlers, right? So anyway, yes, I was wrong about that. But I would say there are maybe some extenuating circumstances that need to be considered. Considering what this team has looked like since the departure of Matt Rule, I frankly don't think that it's all that wild to say that Matt Rule was a bigger problem than he thought he was. And by the way, a bigger problem than we thought he was when we all thought he was kind of a big problem. Lonzo's the team look better since Matt Rule left? I'm not saying you have to love Steve Wilks, but does the team look better since Matt Rule left?
It looks simpler. He has simplified things. I don't know if that was necessary. The defense looks good. The offense, I can't say. Yeah, they've won some games, but Matt Rule with him, they were right in all those games too. They've just won a couple. It isn't like Steve Wilks and Matt Rule are basically the same guy, except for Steve Wilks got a couple more wins out of it. I don't see that drastic of a change. If you want to know the truth, I didn't see, the cloud is lifted. Everything is sunshine now and we're good. The evil one has left the building. No, it's just kind of set. We're taking it one game at a time. Yeah, I know we lost that one. Hey, who's going to be quarterback this week? I don't know. But at least with Matt Rule, you had a steady quarterback. In this case, you don't know who's going to be the guy. And good for Baker for getting out from underneath that, the uncertainty and all that kind of thing. And maybe he'll go somewhere and get to play, and maybe he won't ever play again. Don't know. But I do know that with the Panthers, we're going to have Sam Darnold this week and probably PJ Walker next week, and then probably Sam Darnold the week after that, and then probably PJ Walker after that. That to me doesn't mean that the coaching is so much better than Matt Rule leaving. It's kind of the same.
I'm not saying that Matt Rule left and now all of a sudden the Panthers are a, top 5 power ranked team. Certainly not. They're very much not. What I'm saying is it looks more like a team. It looks more organized. It looks like the team has better chemistry amongst itself, right? You don't have the OOU guys versus the not OOU guys.
You know, I get all that, but at the same time, we didn't hear any of those complaints when Rule was there. We didn't. And we're still not hearing a lot of people slamming Rule to the degree that you would. I don't know that Steve Wilkes is doing anything that's going to get him the job next year. I think, if anything, it's more of the same. They could mess around and actually win the NFC South.
No, not anymore.
They still could. Because that could have been Brady's last shot at winning a game at the end of the regulation. Could be. It's possible. They're playing some better teams. I love the Panthers. I can't wait to see what the new direction is next year. I can't wait to see them actually draft a quarterback and clear out the room as it is now. Keep the defense. Maybe shore up the running game a little bit more and see what happens next year in a division that won't have Tom Brady.
Maybe you won't have Tom Brady.
No, he's going back to New England.
So I am going to own the fact that I thought Baker was going to get something done. I am going to own the fact that I thought Baker would be somebody who turned a corner for the Panthers. I think there were a lot of variables that were working against Baker Mayfield. I think that Matt Rule was one of those, despite the fact that he wanted him there. I think the whole OOU mentality kind of soured a little bit. I'm sure that there were a lot of guys in that locker room that consider themselves one of Matt's OOU guys. Right? And so when Matt became an OOU, they maybe felt a little alienated and the whole thing had to start back over. But it certainly looks like it's pushed in the right direction. However, Baker and the cost that they paid for him ended up being part of that undoing. All right, that's enough Baker Mayfield talk. Let's see. Texture says, can we talk about the fact that South Carolina is absolutely bleeding players right now? What the heck is going on? Bell, Stogner, and others all out. Yes, we the heck can talk about that. I'm going to do it when we come back because you're not alone. Clemson, 9 guys in the portal. South Carolina, getting close to that number. We'll talk about it next on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate.
was free. Price excellent credit terms and conditions apply. Offers are subject to change without notice. Visit bloodstream.com/radio for more information.
Inflation is ridiculous. Everything from
No, it was more the Stephen, the walk that the guy who goes to get Goldberg knocks on the door, Goldberg comes out. That's what it was. Not the teacher thing.
This feature sponsored by NHTSA. Any first responder will tell you, never try to beat a train. After braking, it can take a mile for a train to completely stop. So when you come to a rail crossing, stop. Because
Just want to point out this entire time I've had to pee, and I still do, and I just can't go right now.
Vicks VapoRub sends powerful medicated Vicks vapors right to the source of your, so you can experience cough relief and breathe easier. Generations of families have trusted Vicks VapoRub to help relieve the worst cold symptoms. So next time you have a cough, reach for the Vicks VapoRub. Vicks VapoRub. Cough relieving is believing.
Then I'm trying to add, and I'm, struggling.
And that requires an eye for detail. Because when safety and well-being are on the line, it's the details that can save lives. Even when no one else is watching, you see everything. Granger gets you, and we're here for you. And all the ones who get it done with a wide range of safety products and solutions. Plus board-certified safety consultants here to answer your questions. Call, click Granger.com, or just stop by.
Strong constitution, or also known as I know how to hold my water.
What? What I missed?
No, nothing. I've just had to pee for the last, 25 minutes. And, well, I don't have time.
You don't know. Go when I start a segment.
I'll go eventually, one way or another. No, Kevin, you're just too extreme, dude. By the way, Nolan, we're about to address that, I'm told. So we're going to talk about that. This can't count. Math is hard.
Your smart speaker. Just say play 97 The Fan Upstate. On your HD radio at WFBC HD3. There's just one more thing. And on your computer at The Fan.
Got it this time though, so there. Ah.
Why limit yourself to one team when there are 32 in the NFL? Sunday triple headers, Monday and Thursday night football. You get it all on one station. The Fan Upstate.
All right, corporate. So you didn't like what I put there. I'm going to do it again. I think where will Baker bake is clever. I don't care if you think it is or not. And I'll keep typing it till someone stops me. Better make sure I use proper quotation. QC Connects and first break.
10-4.
I'm going to type it in. It's 2 chapters now. Aha. Punks. But I mean, I like getting paid,
Texter said on the Preferred Home Services text line at 71307. Rob, can we talk about South Carolina absolutely bleeding players right now? What the heck is going on? Bell, Stogner, ... Yeah, we can talk about it. It's what we do. Hypotheses, hypotheticals.
You know, a hypothetical is when you say, what would Clemson have been like if Dabo would have went with Cade? That's a hypothetical. I don't know if you've heard that on another show or something. That's a hypothetical, and I just wanted to point that out. The other thing is, as far as this goes, this is what everyone wanted with NIL and transfer portal. I don't know what you're upset about. It's free agency. These guys are going somewhere else where they can make more money. That's just it's just the NFL light. I mean, there's no. Did you expect loyalty to school now when money's involved? I don't. We ain't living in that century anymore.
I don't want to do this again. I will, but I don't want to. But I will. As I tweeted yesterday, follow me on Twitter at The Rob Brown Show. Follow Lonzo at Lonzo on Word.
By the way, his arms are crossed. That means
Yes.
he's serious. And you know how you can see it? If you go to a stream on Facebook or YouTube or Twitch or Twitter, you could see his arms crossed right now. He looks very cross with his arms crossed.
I'm hitting the camera with that Jim Halpert look right now. As I sent out on Twitter yesterday, after the news broke that Jaheim Bell was no longer going to be a Gamecock.
I hate to interrupt, but I'm glad that drama is gone now. I'm glad that drama is gone. You don't have to worry about the family getting upset. You don't have to worry about everyone. Why is he not playing? I don't get why. Well, now he's going to go somewhere else and probably won't play there either.
And with the drama gone is an NFL caliber player. With the drama gone is a utilitarian NFL quality player that you could line up at running back, at fullback, at tight end, at wide receiver, at slot back. A guy that was a 5-position player, was good at any one of them, and is now no longer a piece of the puzzle. I said when I got that news yesterday, South Carolina will absolutely regret not utilizing him enough to keep him in the fold. He is not gone because he didn't like the program or didn't have loyalty to the program. He is gone because he recognized that how he got utilized this year will hurt his ability to make it to the next level, not help it. This was a guy coming into the year projected to be a potential first-round draft pick, a Kyle Pitts-esque player, a guy that you can line up in a lot of different positions, a lot of different places, and give him a crack at it. And instead, there were multiple games where Jaheim Bell was not utilized at all. It wasn't until his family hit Twitter and were going, hey, where's Ja at? Before South Carolina started utilizing him, and then utilizing him in the most boring and predictable fashion possible. Sat. So now he's gone. And you're going to watch him ball out somewhere else. Where? Don't know. A lot of schools that could use that player. A lot of schools that would know how to utilize that player. Could he end up with a Coach Prime out at Colorado? Maybe. Again, if you're trying to make it to the show, not a lot of guys out there that can give you the all-around advice that Deion Sanders can. Does he go somewhere where he gets paired up with a Heisman caliber quarterback for next year? Maybe. A lot of options for Jaheim Bell. Jaheim Bell's phone is going to run out of battery today and tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day unless he already knows his destination. That, we talked yesterday. Did Dabo make a mistake? Did Dabo make a mistake? I'm going to tell you right now. Shane not stepping in early in the season and demanding that Jaheim Bell become more involved is going to go down as a mistake that Shane Beamer regrets. Watch.
I disagree. I really do. I think Bell is just he's the guy that in the middle of the season people needed to find someone to yell about. Well, why aren't you playing him? And then finally everyone did, and he played some. Satterfield's gone. So if Satterfield was a problem, why is he not still going to be a Gamecock? This is a more of a me mentality, which I get it. You are your business and you want to go somewhere else. But when he goes somewhere else and doesn't play, then you're going to blame it. Not you specifically, but people will blame it and say, well, he was damaged when he was in South Carolina. If he was given the chance that he needed to be given, then he would have shown there and he would shine wherever he is. And more times than not, these guys go somewhere else and they're not any better where they go.
And that might be the case. Jaheim Bell's to go somewhere else and he's just average. But we saw flashes of Jaheim Bell not being average this year. We saw pretty good spots out of Jaheim Bell. Will we see that same thing somewhere else? I think so. And if he ends up with a coach that's got an offensive mindset, if we end up with a coach that looks like that dude and sees that dude for what that dude can be, somebody is going to win what I think as of today is the most coveted player in the portal. There's not many others in the portal that I think can bring more value to a team than Jaheim Bell.
And by the way, going down to a lower level of football and being dominant does not make you better. It just means that you weren't on par with the talent at the level you were at.
Not necessarily. I mean, again, it could also mean that you, and again, I'm not, this statement is not just about Jaheim Bell at South Carolina. There are times when a dude shows up on campus and he doesn't fit the culture, right? He doesn't fit the mentality of a team, of a program. There are times when a dude shows up on campus and a coach just doesn't know how to utilize that guy. And I think Jaheim Bell's in that spot. First off, I'm going to go ahead and call the shot. Jaheim Bell is not going to a lower level of football. This dude is going to be playing FBS Power 5 football next year. That's not a question. That's a statement. It's not a guess. It's a spoiler alert.
I'm not being mean because I am also a Gamecock fan, but he seems stiff and overrated to me. Very stiff. He doesn't seem fluid in his play, and I think that hurts him and will hurt him wherever he goes.
He's a bruiser. He's not a finesse player. If you look at Jaheim Bell and see wide receiver, you've missed the mark. He is a stiff player. He's a physical bruiser player. He's a dude that should have been getting used as a tailback, tight end, split back, who occasionally goes wide out, and you just throw it up to the corner and let him go get it. Now, to take that to the second part of that conversation, I saw the tweet come out where he said he was leaving, and I saw it a lot of folks. And by the way, this goes with the Dabo conversation too. Clemson fans, you're not steering clear of this conversation either. Yesterday, there was a story on one of the local television channels' Facebook page. And on the local television Facebook page, there were some folks who were making some comments about DJ Uiagalelei. One of them said, oh, a few bad games and he's gonna leave. Obviously, he wasn't committed to the Clemson way. See ya. And of course, I had to hit back on that because I can't not. To which I said, how many times have you talked to that cat? How many conversations you had with that guy? How many times have you sat down and got to know him? Because I can tell you how many times for me, it's been 4, 2 on the air, 2 off it.
Wait a minute. People, I'm confused here because Clemson is family and family don't leave, right? So So other than DJ, they don't have anybody else leaving the team, right?
8 other players in the transfer
What,
portal.
eight? That sounds dysfunctional.
Eight so far. 8 so far. Kobe Pace is in there too. We talked about that yesterday. One dude said something to the tune of he never bought into the Clemson way. I said, dude, DJ Uiagalelei was as good of a brand ambassador for the Tigers as you could have asked for. He represented y'all exceptionally well. Every time I saw him on TV, he represented you well. Every press conference I was at, he spoke in. He represented exceptionally well. Every interview I did with him, he represented you exceptionally well. At one point, I criticized him to his face. Hey, man, here's what I think what's wrong with your game. What are your thoughts? If DJ would have stood up, given me the double birds, and walked away from the table, I would have understood it. He didn't. He answered those criticisms. He did so very kindly and calmly. He shook my hand and he walked away. He was a fantastic representation for your school. He just didn't work out at the quarterback spot. It happens like a lot of times. Jaheim Bell is not a poor representation of South Carolina. In fact, quite the opposite. Jaheim Bell could have done what R.J. Roderick did, another Gamecock, who back in late September, early October, said, yo, I'm done with this. I'm in the portal. Day one, I'm gone, and left the team, right? Just left. Now, is that a bad representation of South Carolina? I don't know. That's up to you. I don't particularly know the circumstances behind why R.J. Roderick decided to walk. Maybe there's a good reason. Maybe there's not. It's also the reason that I tell you guys, don't rush to judge or label these kids because you have no idea what the hell's going on in their lives. So that being said, I got no issue with Jaheim Bell leaving. Austin Stogner is out for South Carolina. He had some big-time plays alongside his former Boomer Sooner teammate, Spencer Rattler.
I do have a question as far as the transfer portal goes, and this is not me trying to cause an argument, even though I do enjoy doing that. How many players have to leave before you go, okay, this is a coaching problem? Or what is the level? Because this is new. The amount of guys that are leaving, not just these two schools, but schools all over the country. How many is the norm, and where do you draw the line and go, okay, the coaching is the problem. That's the reason why they're leaving?
I don't know the answer. I am going to go, Zoe, with the I'm going to go with the Tipper Gore rationale here. The Tipper Gore rationale. Sir, I cannot define pornography, but I know it when I see it.
So this is going to be, you think it's a team by team basis. So one team could lose like 12 and it has nothing to do with that. These guys just ain't getting to play and they want to go somewhere else. Another team could lose 12 and my gosh, the coaches need to be fired.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Am I worried about Clemson losing 9 guys? No, not really. Not really.
I think it's a bigger deal Clemson losing the amount they're losing than South Carolina because of how they label themselves. And I think this will be commented on a bunch on Clemson shows about how what's Dabo going to do if he loses all these guys in the portal since he's not using the portal to bring them back in.
Listen, I'm going to go ahead and call the shot. Dabo is at some point going to start utilizing the portal.
Well, he'll have to when there's a mass exodus like there is right now. I mean, you got to fill those spots unless you're going to go down to the soccer field or hold open tryouts.
I don't think, first off, that what's happening at Clemson is a mass exodus.
Does Clemson have rugby? Maybe if they do, they could grab some rugby players.
They got hockey.
Those guys are tough. There we go.
It is not a mass exodus away from Clemson. I think there are some guys that showed up expecting one thing, getting another. I think there are perhaps some kids that showed up thinking that the culture pitch of Dabo Swinney was a recruiting pitch and not much else, and then got on campus and were like, oh, it's like this all the time.
All right, this is killing me because it looks like a mass exodus to me. But again, my definition of a max, as you described earlier, this looks like a mass exodus.
9 guys out of over 100?
Yes, it does to me. That amount of players looks like an abnormal amount. But again, sample size is small. We're still fairly new at the transfer portal thing. This could become the norm, but early on, this looks like a big deal to me, especially when you see the struggles that Clemson has had. I get South Carolina guys leaving, although you would think since they're supposedly on the up with and obviously they are with 8 wins, that they want to stick around for that. But as far as Clemson goes, they've had a couple seasons that would be considered beneath at least the fan base about how they played and things, and they've lost some people. When you paint a picture of this is how this place is, and then suddenly people are leaving, that's a problem.
I don't see it as a problem. Like I said, I think you're going to have some guys that are going to recognize that new recruits are showing up, likely going to take their job. Other guys are looking and seeing NIL dollar signs elsewhere. Other guys are showing up and going, wow, I thought this whole culture thing was just a superficial cover as far as recruiting to sell. Because listen, the way Dabo's recruiting goes is very family friendly, right?
Yeah, but speaking of that, if you're recruiting against Dabo, don't you go, hey man, why do you want to go there? Look at all these guys. These were really good guys. They were highly recruited. They were told they were going to play. They went there, they didn't play. 9 guys left. Those guys didn't want to, that may be a small percentage, but what if you're one of those? You don't want to go there. This picture is being painted a certain way. It's not that way. You come here, you're going to get to play. Why would you want to go to Clemson? Everyone's leaving.
No, not everyone's leaving. Less than 10%
All right,
of the program is
I
leaving.
am being a recruiter. They exaggerate. Just like when people say, come here, we're family. It's an exaggeration, obviously, since so many people are leaving.
It's not a mass exodus. It's not a bad look. All right. Every school is having guys leave. And I'll do my best. We had a texter just a second ago say, give us some numbers on other programs as far as how many people are leaving. And I'll see if I can pull those for you. The problem is there's not like one place where they seem to be gelling all the numbers together. So I'll have to skip around a little bit. South Carolina is, I wrote down, let's see, Levante Bentley, DJU, Kobe Pace, Kevin Swift, DJ Williams, Fred Davis Jr., Billy Wiles, Dakari Collins, and Sergio Allen from Clemson. South Carolina has R.J. Roderick, Cam Smith, Jaheim Bell, Austin Stogner, Darrell Ware, Joey Honey, and Jordan Davis. So say this though, if there's an exodus from Clemson, there's an exodus from South Carolina too.
There is, and there also is a site that tracks it. I'm on it right now. It's just I got to figure out how to filter it by school. I might need some youngster to come around here and help me.
We'll take a look at it. Here's what I'll say. It's not an exodus. It's not time to hit the panic button. I think that this, however, is your time. If you are Dabo, if you are Shane, to be asking these guys, okay, cool, man, I got no problem with you transferring. Tell me why, so we can fix it for future players. What makes you want out? Austin Stogner is a guy who probably thinks he's got league potential and isn't going to have it realized at South Carolina as a tight end. Jaheim Bell's got potential at a couple of different positions. Won't get it recognized, at least did not get it recognized in a year at South Carolina. Some guys are going to go like Jaheim Bell. If they do an interview with him and they go, why are you leaving? And he says, I'll tell you, because I feel like while I enjoy my time here, I wasted a year of potential development at South Carolina because I didn't get the ball. And I'm not going to risk doing that again. I would understand that decision.
And what if he says, you know, my family was really upset. They were tweeting and everything when I didn't get to play, and so they want me to go somewhere else.
What's his decision, ain't it?
Well, that's a Big Dave situation, isn't it?
Sure is. And I got on Big Dave's ass on Twitter yesterday,
I'm
too.
just, you know, consistency. That's all.
100%. I got on Big Dave yesterday, too. Big Dave wasn't safe because Dave has in his Twitter profile, which is at @DUiungalale, he has, I created my kid's brand by using the hashtag Big Dave's Blueprint formula, hashtag God gets all the glory, hashtag God's plan. I'm like, is it God's plan? Because it kind of sounds like it's Big Dave's plan, considering you literally called it hashtag Big Dave's plan, right? Is it just me? Or should parents like Big D? I'm not just talking about Big Dave. I'm talking about all of them. But parents like Big D, advise your kids, sure, but let them make their own decisions, man. The Big Dave's Blueprint formula is part of the reason, in my opinion, that DJ was never ready to handle the pressure of being Clemson's starting quarterback because he was a brand before he was a quarterback. Dave is trying to use his kids to lift his own get your kids ready for college business up off the ground. And now that he's selling Montoya Uiagalelei along with DJ Uiagalelei as a package deal, he's not coming off that bandwagon. All right, let me take a break. Kev, I see you on hold. Stay right there. I will get you immediately coming out of the break. Anybody else want in? Now's your time. 844-FAN phone, 844-326-3663. You can send us a text at 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate. Be right back, guys.
Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
The Ingles advantage isn't just about saving or the best quality food for your family. It's more than that. It's the advantage of being a part of a community. That's why we provide over 2 million pounds of food every year through regular donations and programs like the Ingles Giving Tree, Food for Thought, and the Ingles Fill a Backpack program. It's the right thing to do, and we know that you would do the same. Ingles, your neighbor for over 50 years.
The Upstate Holiday Light Show is going on now at Greenville Pickens Speedway. Drive through a nighttime Christmas wonderland as 32 million colors set the sky ablaze, synchronized to the music of your favorite holiday classics. UpstateLights.com.
Sponsored by Jeff Martin Auctioneers. Jeff Martin Auctioneers is hosting the East Coast Public Auction in Pelzer on December 8th, featuring construction and farm equipment, trucks, trailers, and more. Bid your way live on-site or online. JeffMartinAuctioneers.com. Experience the difference. License 4283.
Unique and unlike any other sports talk show, it's BetMGM Tonight. Monday through Friday from 7 to 11, only on the Fan. BetMGM Tonight is the red zone for casual and hardcore sports fans. Live sports betting updates for all of the night's games as they happen. Get the latest sports lines, props, parlays, futures, and much more with host.
Don't forget about Kevin.
I went right to him.
Sports wager takeout tonight at 7. BetMGM Tonight, exclusively on the Fan. And on the website. Give you the game on the Rob Brown Show.
My guy Kevin has been kind enough to hold through the break. Let's get him up on the Rob Brown Show. Rob and Lonzo, and now Kevin hanging out with us. What's up, Kay? How we doing, buddy?
Oh man, chilling, man. Trying to get my ham started at 9 a.m. But man, this rain is slowing me down. Man.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, making it tough. I just want to go back to sleep between that and the Saints game last night. I hate everything, Kevin.
Oh man, you're right about that, man. But hey, I mean, ask you something. Check this out. So, with all this portal stuff going on, are they gonna need agents in college football in a little while, man? Because you figure you go somewhere, South Carolina, wherever you go, you sign the scholarship at, and then a year into it, Texas calls or somebody say, "Hey, we're gonna give you this amount of money to come here and play for us," and then you go. So now you, as an offensive lineman, I'm looking at it like we'll never put a cohesive unit together because everybody is either going somewhere or the coach tell them we're going to play or you're going to play. Then you get here and you don't play like the coach said. But to me, that's a player thing. You go somewhere and you're not playing, that's on you. I don't see too many coaches just like, I'm not putting him on the field. Now, Jaheim Bell, his situation, they just didn't do it. And I don't know why. But that's what it seems like now. Are they doing it for money stuff, or is it still a sensitive thing to where, oh, coach said I'm gonna play, but now I'm not, so I need to leave?
That is a good question, Kevin. I don't think with any transfer, let me phrase that, with any broad brush of transfers, are you going to be able to assign a reason, right? Like Jaheim Bell's reasons for leaving are probably very different from Roderick's reasons. They're probably very, very different than Jordan Davis's reason. I mean, South Carolina's got what? I think 7 guys in the portal right now. Some of them were more important to the team this year than others. All of them are going to have very different reasons. You're going to have kids leave because they realize they can get an NIL deal worth more cash elsewhere. And again, how you feel about that's up to you. You got the Cavender twins who were playing basketball at Stanford, who left a world-class program to go down to Miami because they knew they were going to get fatter stacks if they played down there. You're going to have guys that are going to go, well, you know, I'm a 5-star wide receiver that could go somewhere, but this year we ran the ball 83% of snaps. I'm not going to get the opportunity to get my numbers to prove I'm league ready. Let me go somewhere I will. And you're going to have some kids that are going to go, hey, I hate the coach, right? Like he sold me this fake ass personality when he was recruited. Kevin, you ever got into a relationship where you were dating a young lady and everything was going great, and as soon as y'all sealed the deal and made it official, she turned into somebody completely different? That.
Different.
Yeah. And then what you do?
Man, that's a whole
You
radio
hit that.
show in
You hit
itself right there.
exactly, and you hit that relationship transfer portal running, my guy.
Running and don't look back. Like now, like a lot of kids that transferred it, some of them was family stuff, or they was homesick, so they wanted to be close to the home, or somebody got sick. I understand all that, but because you didn't work hard enough to get on the field. So when you think, okay, I'm gonna leave South Carolina and go to Slippery Rock University somewhere, and then you get out here and it's the same thing. Okay, you getting some money, but you still ain't out here on this field shining. You know, so and that's just, and that may be me as an old school person looking there like, hey, I'm gonna go work. Now, if I go work and I'm getting out here and I'm doing my thing, and somebody still want to give me a whole lot of Benjamins, I'm gonna go get them. Like to me right now, coming out of high school, if I'm an offensive lineman, I'm going to Texas. Texas is giving you free pancakes and $50,000 a year. I'm going to Texas.
Yeah, and again, if free pancakes and $50K is your rationale to play there, you know, go for it. Like it does, and I guess that's a big philosophically. It doesn't bother me at all. I don't care if that's your reason and you feel like that's what's best for you in your future. Then I got no problem with it, right? If the only reason you're leaving a school is because you got there and you feel like you got sold a false bill of goods, get the hell out. It is the same option that you and me and Lonzo and everybody else in the real world have. If somebody hires me and I show up to work and they hired me as a radio host, and then they go, oh, yeah, by the way, we need you to clean the toilets for 6 months before we put you on a mic. No, I'm gone, dude. Like, I'm not doing that. That's not what I signed up for. That's not what y'all hired me for. I'm not about that life.
Yeah, radio, if I got to go ahead and talk sports for 4 hours, and at the end of these 2 hours, I got to go ahead and hit this bathroom up, man, I think I'm going to figure this out on the way out the door.
That's it. That's it. It's real easy.
Hey, but I tell you what, though, what size shirts are you and my guy? I got something for y'all.
Okay. I mean, I'm rolling an XL right now. Hopefully not for much longer, but right now I am.
Too long torso. Hey,
too long course. Hey, I feel you on that too long course. I like that size, man. We should manage that, man. We should come up with something, because have you ever went and got a 2X shirt, but it's for a 2X wide guy who's 5'2" and 6 feet wide, but you put the shirt on now, it look like you have lost a lot of weight, but you really hadn't, because this is one big wide shirt. This is for the big fellas. The big fellas may know this.
Yeah,
so
yeah, we do.
Go in the store and get this 3X LT. I need the LT. If they ain't got LT on it, I'll leave it in the store.
I got nothing. I'm just a regular torso, I guess.
Regular torso. Now, see, I used to be 320 bills, man. So now I'm down to 265 bills.
Attaboy.
So, yeah, I'm trying to figure the new wardrobe out. I'm still trying to wear a size 44, but I need a size 40 now. Somebody got to come through with your brother some pants, man.
Kev, I wish you the best of luck in your clothes finding adventure, buddy. Appreciate it.
Y'all take it easy, man.
You got it, my guy. My man Kevin checking back in with us. By the way, you know, I just realized were you here? You weren't here, Lonzo. The week leading up to Clemson, South Carolina.
I was not here. I was on vacation.
Yeah. You know who made a random appearance on the show and I have not heard back from since? Crazy Ralph. You remember Crazy Ralph?
No, and he did call back the other day, and you didn't get to the call. He did call like a couple of days ago.
Well, that's on me.
Yeah, it was up there. It just,
Ralph, I need you back, buddy. I need you back.
I thought that was just the other show thing.
Oh, no. He called on our show and said Shane was a freaking moron. In South Carolina, he was a cancer to the program, and he needed to go. And I have not heard back from Ralph since. Apparently, he tried to call in, and I missed him on my call screen, which is my bad. But, Ralph, need you back, buddy. Need you back ASAP. Need you back in the game. Need your thoughts after what happened. Hit us back up. Looking for you. All right. 844-FAN phone, 844-326-3663. Text us 71307. Start your text with FAN. We'll read them on the air. Texter said Cam Smith is going to the draft, not transferring. Stogner wants to be closer to home. Yeah. Again, I wrote down, that's on me. I wrote down the list of all the guys that were leaving. That's the list. Cam's on there.
I can confirm that he has a list because he just showed it to me.
It's right there.
Yeah, I see it.
Show prep. Texter said, can we get a third show on the station? This show is nothing but Clemson hate, and that other is Clemson lovers. Can we get an actual neutral show?
Yeah, listen to Jim Rome, noon to 3. He's neutral. He's not.
He doesn't care about any of you.
Yeah, he hates everyone.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there you go.
The show is definitely not all Clemson hate. Do you understand that a minute ago I literally said South Carolina's in the same boat and probably losing more talent than Clemson?
By the way, I don't have Clemson hate either. I do like messing with people like you, though.
Texter says Dabo is the Joel Osteen of Clemson. Listen, here's the thing.
You guys need to quit putting the religion in it and all that kind of stuff.
Hang on.
That's. I mean, that's.
Do you debate that a big element to Dabo's recruiting is faith-based?
Yeah, I mean, he absolutely, it is part of it.
So
and
then there is religion there.
Right.
We are not inserting it. It has been inserted, and we are discussing the ramifications
you are
of it.
making fun of it, though.
No, not at all.
I don't think you can talk about religion and put Joel Osteen in there without making fun of it.
I think
because that is making fun just by putting his name in.
Oh, no, don't get me wrong. Joel Osteen's a terrible person, and I'll call that shot.
I mean, I don't know if he is or not, but
no, I know for a fact he is.
Okay.
That being said, not making fun of it, pointing out the fact that that is a big part of how Dabo recruits, and that's fine. He's done a hell of a job with it, right? There are going to be some kids that go, that's not for me. That's not, I'm not living my life the way Dabo wants it lived to be a Clemson Tiger. It's not for me. He's going to lose some kids that don't fit that narrative, and that's okay. Just like Mike Leach being crazy and talking about Pirates as an actual college class is going to lose some recruits. There's going to be some recruits that are like, yo,
wait. That's part of the curriculum?
Mike Leach, and I don't know if he's doing it at State, but when he was at, where was it, Washington State? You could have Mike Leach as a professor of pirate history, yes.
Dude.
And he had like swords and everything. I immediately signing up for that class.
Yeah, I bet there's a waiting list.
Immediately signing up for that
Who
class.
wouldn't want to take that class?
But this is
wonder if there's any of that online. I want to watch that.
I hope so. But that's kind of my point, right? Like that is part of the Mike Leach experience. And there are going to be some kids that go, yo, coach is teaching pirate history. I want in on that, right? It's just kind of how the culture works. I think the texture in question here is not saying that to mock Dabo, but more point out that there are some kids that is just not going to work for. That's just not the life they want to live. And so therefore, Clemson isn't for them. Every school's got its own culture and identity, right? If you are I knew some kids growing up. So football to them was, it was their life and they took it very seriously. Right? It was not something they did for fun. It was something that they did. It was serious. It was business approach. Shane Beamer's probably not the coach for them, is he? His fun sunglasses and dancing in the locker room routine probably ain't right for that guy. Nick Saban's right for that guy. Players that want a Nick Saban style ain't going to make it in South Carolina. Players that want a South Carolina style coach ain't going to make it under Nick Saban. It's all part and parcel, whether it's politics or faith or whatever, right? Dabo, in a move that I very much respected, when his guys a couple of years back were like, hey, coach, we want to organize a march for racial justice across campus. Not only did Dabo approve that, but he marched with them, right? I respected the hell out of that. There's a lot of coaches that would say, guys, we need to keep our image out of politics. We don't need to be getting into that, right? You can all make your tweets or whatever. And there are some coaches that don't allow tweets. Some coaches say, no social media. Not allowed to have social media. There's a lot of kids that are going to, it's not that serious, coach. Like, that ain't my life either. That's why kids transfer. It's not always about money. It's not always about PT. It's about their lives too. This is their life for 3 or 4 or 5 years. This is their life. And the rules and restraints you put on it are going to hit different kids different ways for different reasons. All right, let's take a break. My name is Rob Brown. The great one, Lonzo's at the helm. 1 segment this hour, 1 hour to go after that on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate.
Every weekday at 6 on the DA Show. Only on the Fan Upstate.
Sports Flash on the Fan Upstate. Baseball free agency, Justin Verlander has agreed to a 2-year contract with the Mets. It's worth more than $86 million. The deal reunites the American League Cy Young Award winner with Max Scherzer and gives the Mets a high-profile replacement for Jacob deGrom. The Philadelphia Phillies have landed Trey Turner. He agreed to a $300 million 11-year deal.
Sports update. Peter Sports.
The Philadelphia team that made it to the World Series this year before losing to Houston. Clayton Kershaw is returning to the Dodgers. He signed with the National League West champs. The deal includes a $5 million signing bonus, a salary of $15 million, and a hotel suite on road trips. The Yankees are interested.
Ooh, a hotel suite on road trips.
Better than sleeping in the car, you know.
Like, what was he ordinarily sleeping in on road trips?
That's
Like, where were you ordinarily being forced to sleep?
random fans' couch. I don't know.
Just accept the high interest rates credit cards charge as a necessary evil.
What are you going to do?
Get a low fixed rate credit card consolidation loan from Lightstream from $5,000 to $100,000 and pay off those credit card balances. Apply online and get your money as soon as the day you apply. The average credit card company charges over 19% APR, but with Lightstream, you can get a fixed rate as low as 7.99% APR with AutoPay and Exxon Credit.
Now I can pay off my high-interest credit cards and save money at a much lower rate.
Apply today at lightstream.com/radio and get an additional interest rate discount. That's lightstream.com/radio. Lightstream.com/radio.
Subject to credit approval. Base range from 7.99% APR to 21.49% APR. Includes 0.5% all base capital rate. Requires excellent credit. Terms and conditions apply. Offers are subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com/radio for more information.
This feature is sponsored by Bed Bath & Beyond. Hey, here's a holiday gift from Bed Bath & Beyond.
And by the way, Kevin, when you reach a certain age, then ages like that are kids to you. As you get older, they become kids. That's, you know, it's different for everybody. For when you know, suddenly they realize, hey, those are kids. Yeah, those are kids. Like me, you know, all my Tims could be my kids. I mean, because of their ages. Best way to become a producer around here, say your name's Tim.
Our new technology platform developed by AmericanEagle.com has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or a technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK. Dell Technologies Days of Deals for Business start now with fresh, limited quantity deals on tech to drive productivity.
You know, I played Division III like 30 years ago. There were kids there just for football. So, I mean, that's just... Especially on their way out the door, because, you know, you never know. What's the useless?
Who was the
nickname?
player a couple of years ago that got in trouble for saying, "I ain't here to play school"? Do you remember? It was a quarterback.
I don't. I wonder if he's still in football.
I want to say he was at Ohio State. Cardale Jones, Lonzo. Cardale Jones, who said, we ain't come here to play school. We came here to play football. Welcome back to the Rob Brown Show. Wrap it up. Hour number 2. Texas says, Lonzo, wrong. Not making fun. Dabo is a good man. Yeah, listen. I have had a lot of critiques about Dabo Swinney, the football coach. I don't really have any about Dabo, the dude. I have not met anyone who's had interaction with Dabo who had a negative things to say about Dabo. And trust me, I don't know why it is. But when people get an opportunity to talk to somebody like me, they got usually no problem giving you both sides of their opinions of somebody. And I haven't met anybody who's said a cross word about Dabo. Now, as I've told you a million times, you go anywhere and you broadcast anywhere else in this country, and you're going to see a lot of people who take cracks at Dabo. They think he's fake. They think he's a fraud. They think he's hokey. But I've also told you a million times, who the hell cares, right? It doesn't matter. What matters is what he is, what he does, and how y'all feel about him. Disappointed this year as a football coach. As a dude? No, not really. But again, 9 Clemson Tigers leaving the program does not mean the program's in shambles or Dabo's checked out or it's time to send him fishing with Steve Spurrier down in the Keys.
Thank you for the clarification. I was waiting for Steve-O again, which I still can't get out of my head. Because what a fun conversation that would be between Dabo and Steve-O as they're trying to catch some bass or something.
No, you don't bass fish in the Keys.
Dude, I don't know. I've been fishing, but I don't know what you get there. I'm not. That sounds like a 1%er, and you're stretching your arms out like what was it?
Big
like
fish in the Keys,
like swordfish and stuff like
if
that.
you go offshore.
Okay.
Yeah, stay inshore. You do sheep's head, drum.
Wait. So not actual sheep's head fish. You're talking about places that you.
No, yeah, sheep's head fish.
What does sheep's head fish look like?
Oh, I'll be happy to show you. Be happy to show you. I'll show the whole stream. We'll keep talking football here, but I'll show it to you on the stream. That's a sheep's head fish, Lonzo. Right there on the right. And then that is a sheep's head's mouth.
Okay. All right. What kind of bait do you use for that?
Sheep's head are interesting because you can put just about anything on a hook and drop it down. I'll tell you one of the secret ones back in the day that we used to use was to roll up a ball of bread real tight. It's got to be real tight because if you don't roll it up real tight, it'll fall apart. But you roll up a ball of bread real tight, and then you roll it around in peanut butter, and you hook through the middle. The peanut butter keeps the bread together in the middle, and you just drop it straight down. A sheep's head will go crazy on that. But before you do that, what you got to do is you got to take a weight on a string, like a heavy weight, like a 10-pound weight on a string, like a plate weight, like you would put on the end of a bar. You hang it down to a string. You'd bring it down to one of the pilings on whatever structure you're fishing on, and you run it up and down the side so it scrapes all the barnacles off because they eat the barnacles off. So if you scrape the barnacle off, you chum for the sheep's head, they start to come pick off the barnacles that you've knocked off, and then you drop that little butterball right down the middle.
Why do you not have a fishing show?
Because you can't catch sheep's head. All the fish I know how to catch don't live here.
People go there on vacation.
Right, but what am I going to do? I'm just going to sit in a room and talk about it? No, I got to show you.
You go home on occasion? You have a phone?
Yes, Lonzo. Thank you for adding Job 29.
Hey, you were looking.
The Rob Brown Show has an hour left in it. And I've got a lot of stuff I want to get to that we haven't even touched on yet. But we will, don't worry, because we got a full 60 to get to. Fred McGriff, the crime dog, is an MLB Hall of Famer. Barry Bonds is not. Is that fair or not? We'll talk about that. And we'll make one more run at where Carolina is post Baker Mayfield. All that more coming up on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. This show sucks, and I apologize to all of y'all.
We are salvaging. We're all right. And now we know how to fish for sheep's head. Really? Are they good eating though? Because it doesn't sound. It
Yes.
just sounds like
Yes.
it's like
I don't even know who said that in the chat, and they
Kevin
are
did.
correct. Yeah, sheep's heads are good eating. Real good eating.
What do they taste like? Don't say like fish because I get that. But I mean, can you compare it to another fish?
Not really. Oh, can we put on the soccer game? I forgot to ask you.
Why?
General Manager Brian Cashman to a 4-year extension through 2026. Still trying to reel in free agent slugger Aaron Judge, who this morning
I can't see so real well because of where it is. So do you know what channel it is?
It's on one of the Fox channels. We'll go up.
I'm craning the neck here. I can see now.
Christmas in Louisiana.
What's that like?
Warm.
I don't see it. You sure it's on?
Yeah, you just passed it.
Where?
Go up. Right there.
Oh, okay. I see it now. My bad. I'm doing the grandpa remote thing.
Grandpa remote thing.
That's why Fisher Investments is a fiduciary, obligated to put clients first. It's the highest standard for a financial advisor.
So, what do you provide? Cookie cutter portfolios like the rest of us?
No cookie cutter portfolios here. Fisher Investments tailors portfolios to meet each client's.
I'm bringing this show back.
But you do sell investments.
I am.
Like commissions, right?
Slowly.
And make commissions when you make trades for your clients.
No, Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission investment products, and we never earn commissions on trades.
So what's in it for you?
Last resort is tickling, and I really don't want to do that because that requires touching. Since I don't know who HR is, you know, it might be all right. All right, Peter, let's go. Could you go any slower?
Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you; it finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience.
Yeah, let's just leave it.
To apply to your job, you get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job in ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Were you ice fishing, Kevin, in Buffalo? Or is this like during the summer? But you mentioned football season, so. By the way, they took my Where Will Baker Bake Off again. And I put it back on again. It could be a glitch, but it sure does seem like someone's listening and going, bless you, let me erase this again. It's still up there this time, though. Last time it took about 20 minutes, and then I looked up and all my chapters were gone except for the first one, which was the Saints fail again. They left that one up the entire time. I got an eye roll, ladies and gentlemen.
Because they're waiting for you to put up Brady does it again. As if Brady was the reason that they won that game and not the Saints absolutely crapping the bed.
I don't even know how to spell Brady. I've lied. I do. It's P-U-N-K. That's how you spell Brady.
You say P-O-N-K?
I said you. I said you. I said P-U. And then I had to take a breath, which might have made my enunciation, off. But since your head's filled with snot, it just made you heard something. You misheard. By the way, management really pleased about Saturday.
Good.
Told you.
Happy.
Brought up to me, not me bringing it up. So.
Bring it up to me.
Are you kidding me, right? So what is going on? Flathead catfish. Do the flathead catfish have flatheads?
Yeah. Well, they're called that.
Could be a place called Flathead
Those
where
are
they're
silver cats. You know why they're called silver catfish? They're silver.
are there thunder catfish?
Thunder.
Thunder.
The third, the final, the best. The money hour.
If I would yell ho right now, people wouldn't get why I was doing that. So I'm not going to.
For the best.
Watch the stream. Watch the stream. That's all I'm saying.
Thundercats, Thundercats, Thundercats. Ho.
Ho! I can't yell Baker anymore.
Oh, that's so sad.
It's
So
you got to be
sad.
careful where you yell ho though. As long as the first part's there, we're good.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It is the Rob Brown Show. I am Rob Brown. He is the great one, Lonzo, and we are glad to have you along for the radio broadcast today.
Welcome back into fishing with Rob.
You know, I explained to the great one moments ago. We were talking. I don't even know how we came into that. How did that come up? Do you remember?
Clever movement by myself.
Fair enough. I respect that. We got into somehow the concept of, we were talking about bass fishing. You said, why don't you start a fishing show? And my answer was because I don't fish for the fish that live around here. The fish I fish for down in Florida are very different.
But you could fish for the fish that are around here, right?
No, I've bass fished one day in my life. When I moved here, I asked Diesel to take me bass fishing, and he always told me he would, but we just haven't gone yet.
You know what it is? It's like those guys who, can golf really well, and you ask them to take you golfing, but they never will because they don't want to deal with who they consider to be an amateur on their links. So maybe Diesel didn't want to take an amateur with him to fish for bass or whatever you do around here.
See, then you're just passing up on an excuse to go fishing, which means you're not a good fisherman, right? Why would you pass on it? If somebody sucks at golf and asks me to go golfing, I still say yes, because it's an excuse for me to go play golf. Not that I need one, but I'll take one.
Trust me, I've asked some people around here to take me golfing, and they said no.
I haven't said no.
Yeah, now I may be too old to do it.
Nah.
I might throw something out.
Hit any golf course at 6 a.m. and it looks like the retirement home had a mass exit.
All right, I don't want to be amongst my true peeps.
No, the point-
That's
the-
really what it comes
the
down
point
to. I
that
don't want to be
I'm-
out there with the old guys,
Point I'm
okay?
making here is you're not too old to do it.
No, I don't want to be out there with those guys.
Gotcha. All right.
They're my demo. I'd never get anything done.
Our Heisman Trophy finalists have been named, ladies and gentlemen. Georgia's Stetson Bennett, USC's Caleb Williams, TCU's Max Duggan, and CJ Stroud from The Ohio State University have been announced as your Heisman Trophy finalists. All four quarterbacks, all four playing on top 10 teams. 3 of them in the playoffs. One of them fell short against Utah not once, but twice.
because defense doesn't matter. Only quarterbacks.
I did laugh at Caleb, who had bleep US or bleep Utah painted on his fingernails to come into the game, like F-word Utah on his fingernails. And they asked one of the linebackers after the game, they're like, hey, how'd you feel about Caleb's fingernails saying F Utah on it? And his answer was, that's cute. I hope he liked his manicure. What'd the scoreboard say? Which is the best possible answer.
If you got scoreboard, you got to use scoreboard.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Especially if you've got 2 scoreboards. Utah single-handedly kept USC out of the playoffs, which is pretty funny to me. Williams is the minus 2,500 odds-on favorite to take home the award, even though the Trojans are the only team out of the playoff. And, you know, I had the conversation this morning before the show started about this. And somebody said what Lonzo said a second ago. Is there not a single defensive player who warranted being a finalist? And here's what I'll say. Part of this is on us. We have created a world in which we are so fascinated by offensive football, right? That's why you can have a game that goes something to the tune of 10-3 with a great set of defenses playing. And everybody starts to talk about how trash of a game it was, even if it really was a great defensive matchup. We like offensive football. And so the guys that produce the most offense are the ones who get noticed the most, get the most attention. But here's my genuine question. What defensive player would you say earned a crack at being a defensive candidate this year? There were a few last year. Aiden Hutchinson was absolutely worthy last year of being a defensive candidate when it goes to the Heisman. Will Anderson Jr., the linebacker from Alabama last year, was absolutely worthy of being a Heisman candidate. In fact, Bryce Young, at one point, he said that he thought that Will Anderson Jr. probably deserved a shot at the Heisman more than him, which is big praise coming from the guy who, won it. But you had 3 quarterbacks and a defensive lineman last year that went. Anderson last year was a sophomore linebacker who finished the year leading the nation in sacks with 16, leading the nation in tackles for loss with 31.5, and couldn't get in. Instead, Kenny Pickett and C.J. Stroud went alongside Hutchinson and Young. Who is this year's Aiden Hutchinson? Who is this year's Will Anderson? Right? Now, let me throw the early part of this out now. Lonzo, I don't particularly love or care for the Heisman Trophy. It's of the awards in sports, not my favorite.
It's just who's the most popular quarterback this year.
I don't think popular is the word. I do think you have to be good.
Well, yeah. You know what makes you popular? Being good. Yeah, it does.
That's fair. I don't love the award. Let me put it this way. I don't think that I have taken the time to make sure I'm in front of a television for a Heisman Trophy celebration and presentation in probably 8 or 9 years. I didn't last year. I didn't the year before that. Right?
Well, usually you know who's going to win. I mean, this year I'm not so sure.
Oh, I have 0%. I have no idea who's going to win. I mean, Vegas says that it's runaway going to be the young man out of USC. But I don't know that for a fact. Even still, even if it is the first Heisman Trophy presentation in a few years that I did not definitively know who was going to get it. After it gets awarded, though, my phone's going to go bzz, 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 and I'm going to look down and it's going to tell me, and I'm going to go, okay.
At the same time, when there are other things like when they're announcing who the top 4 teams are in college football for the playoff, are you watching that, or are you just waiting for your phone to buzz?
Nope, I'm watching that. I was watching every Tuesday. I was watching on Sunday night. I was watching bowl invitations and bowl scheduling. All those things get tuned into. And if I'm not in front of a TV, I pull it up on my phone on a stream and watch it. The Heisman Trophy celebration does nothing for me. I don't even hit it with the, it's a popularity contest. It is. We know that. But it's just, it's whatever for me. It's just whatever. Texter says, Jadeveon Clowney was the biggest player in history to get snubbed. I mean, listen, every school has got a defensive player who was a monster that they feel got snubbed. Some of them are right. I honestly thought Aiden Hutchinson got snubbed last year. I thought Aiden Hutchinson deserved that Heisman last year. But giving it to a defensive player ain't sexy. And as we have proved time and time again, college football is as much about being sexy as anything else. So, you know, you guys can watch on Saturday night. Pick your favorite. It's all well and good. I don't particularly care. So that made me a bad college football fan, though. That this is the quote-unquote biggest award in college football, and I could not give 2 boats about it.
I'm sure you'll be working because that's what you do every day and every night. So you have that as an excuse for not watching. I will, depends on what time is it? Is it like 7 o'clock?
It should be like 8 o'clock around here.
All right. So I'll be working.
I honestly don't know.
I will be working.
Because like I said, I haven't watched it in years.
I do have, for the first time in a while, a player who I'm rooting for who's there. So,
Sure.
So I have a rooting interest, but I'll be working.
I mean, I guess maybe like if I had a vested interest.
Yeah, if one of your guys are in there, you're probably going to watch because you want to see them celebrate and you want to see them do the backstory about them and all that kind of stuff. I mean, that's kind of cool.
I guess.
And see how they're how much fun they're having in New York with their other quarterback buddies.
The New York Quarterback Club. I don't know, I saw the odds drop. Caleb being not just a favorite, but a heavy favorite. I found very interesting. Again, it's not surprising, right? 4,000 passing yards, 37 touchdowns. Duggan took TCU to an undefeated regular season, 3,321 yards, 30 touchdowns, 4 picks. That's not bad. Bennett and Stroud, of course, will play each other in the playoffs. Bennett, 34-25, 20 touchdowns. Stroud, 33-40 and 37 touchdowns. He is tied with Williams. Caleb Williams is going to win this thing. So,
if Stroud would have if the Buckeyes would have beat Michigan, Stroud would have won it.
I don't know about that.
I think he would have, because in order to beat them, he would have had to have some pretty good stats, and that would have added to that. And, you know, and the eye test, 2 versus 3, all that kind of stuff. I think the loss hurt his chances at winning.
Well, I'm not disagreeing, but it can't have hurt him that much. Caleb Williams lost to the same team twice, and it wasn't a top 2 team. Caleb Williams just has better numbers. I think that's all it's going to fall down to is statistics.
Do they take into account running games and that sort of thing? Or is it just strictly?
I'm sure they do.
I mean, so if you got a decent running game, your stats might be down a little bit more than, you know, other places.
I'm sure they do. I also know I don't particularly care. How many out of 10 Heismans, how many do you think get handed to the guy that is the best player in college football? Like the best player in college football? 2, 3 out of every 10? Like, and I guess I wonder how this award keeps going when it seems to me like the majority of y'all all feel that way. I don't know. Maybe this is just me being old and grumpy, which is a slight possibility, I suppose. Fred McGriff is a Hall of Famer, ladies and gentlemen. The crime dog. Special committee unanimously elected McGriff to the Baseball Hall of Fame while rejecting 7 other nominees. McGriff was elected via the first vote of the Contemporary Baseball Era Committee, a group tasked with considering modern-day players, which they consider from 1980 to present, who were not enshrined via the traditional vote from the BWAA. McGriff will join the rest of the class of 2023 and will be announced on January 24th. The committee rejected 7 other nominees. That list includes Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, Rafael Palmeiro, Albert Bell, and a few others. Don Mattingly, Curt Schilling, and Dale Murphy all came up short as well. McGriff got unanimous support. All 16 members said go. He topped out during his final year of Baseball Writers Association of America eligibility with 39.8% of the vote in 2019. 19 MLB seasons with the Blue Jays, Padres, Braves, Devil Rays, Cubs, and Dodgers. Obviously, best known for his stint in Atlanta, where he made 3 All-Star teams and helped win the 1995 World Series while anchoring first for the Bravos from 93 to 97, a 5-year span that saw them win 4 division titles and 2 NL pennants. The 94 playoffs were canceled amidst a player strike. The Braves may have gotten that one done as well. Glad to see Crime Dog get in. I think Crime Dog is a worthy entrance. I think Crime Dog is a dude that numbers-wise is kind of a borderline guy, but impact on the game was immense. We have talked about, who's our favorites. Who's our favorite players from when we were a child? Fred Crime Dog McGriff was way up on that list for me. Way up on that list for me. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, it's Tuesday. Been a minute since we got this one underway. How about we play a little Faces and Heels on a Tuesday, ladies and gentlemen? Lonzo and I take a look at some I need a break. Lonzo and I take a look at some socially ambiguous situations, try to figure out who's the good guy, who's the bad guy. It's Faces and Heels, and it's next on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
Hey, did you know there's a competition about who gets the most downloads?
I did not know that.
Me either, but apparently there's
Hang on, stream.
Hemorrhaging.
Sorry, we were hemorrhaging listeners.
Bleeding. It's a bloodbath. It's like the Clemson transfer portal up in here.
All right, it is time for Faces and Heels, where Alonzo and I take a look at some socially ambiguous situations and try to find out who's the good guy, who's the bad guy, who is the guy, who's the face, who's the heel. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get to this one. 26-year-old woman and a 28-year-old boyfriend moved in together about a year ago, Lonzo, and things were going relatively well until about a month ago when the boyfriend got demoted. He missed a deadline at work. They demoted him. Says now we're in a position where we're barely getting by and we've got no expendable income. She says, I am currently paying for 90% of everything. Out of my salary comes our rent, utilities, gas, and student loans. The boyfriend is using about 60% of his savings for his own loans and college tuition and study fees. We decided to use my salary for the more important things since it's larger. His goes towards groceries aside from his tuition and whatnot. She said, we came up with a strict grocery budget to help us get through, but it barely does. Last month, I had to ask my parents for money because our pantry was empty. My paycheck was drained, and we literally had nothing to eat. We currently have about $170 to get us through the next 2 weeks until I get paid. Today, the boyfriend called me and said he was ordering takeout and asked if I want anything. I immediately launched into him. I said, do not do that. He said, I'm hungry. I reminded him of the groceries we have at home and that he can come home and make some mac and cheese and I'll have whatever's left when I come home. He said that buying takeout for him alone wouldn't cost that much and that if I don't want to have some, it's fine. I'm now hungry at work and angry at him for his lack of priorities. He's telling me he's got to be able to eat, and this is the only way to do it and keep studying. I don't want to talk to him right now.
I think this is an obvious one. The boyfriend obviously is the heel here. Ramen noodles don't cost that much. There's some things that you can buy and buy enough of to where it feels like you have a lot more food than what you do, but you don't go out and do that. I've been there, could be there right now. You never know in those type of situations, and you got to be smarter about it.
Yeah, I've done the shoestring budget before. I've done not only do I have a grocery shopping list, but I will take someone with me and be like, do not even let me pick anything up that's not on this list, right? Well, I could just use a little salt. Nope, not on the list. Leave it there because I know what I got and not much else. If you, especially considering you're the one who got demoted and caused this, right? Like your demotion caused expendable income to go out the pocket, and it was because you failed, right? You missed the deadline. That's on you a little bit. You even need to be more strict in the way you guys are handling the diet than she is at this point. I do understand, though, because even on a shoestring budget, I have been in spots before where it's like, okay, I've got to have this thing done by 4, and then I've got to be in this place by 4:30, which gives me 8 minutes to eat in between the two of them. Like sometimes a fast food burger is just the best option, right? Because it's the mix of value between money it costs and time it costs to get it and eat it. I would 95% of the time prefer to go home and make something at the house, right? I got red beans and rice in the fridge right now. That's what I'm going home to have for lunch. 90% of the time, I'm going to go, but there are days like tomorrow. Tomorrow, I will leave here. I have to leave here. I have to go see a client, and then I have to be down at the Bon Secours Wellness Arena right after that. I will not have time to go home tomorrow. Smart Rob would plan that out and put his lunch together tomorrow, but I also don't like a cold lunch. So I'll probably end up snagging a chicken sandwich from Chick-fil-A on the way, right? And that's only because there's not a Popeyes, the superior chicken sandwich, between here and my destination. But especially if it's on you, dude. Especially if it's on you, you suck it up, Buttercup. You suck it up. If she is making that sacrifice, so can you. All right. Here's one. 26-year-old woman is getting married in February of 2023 to her 29-year-old fiance. They've been dating for 4 years. She said that they had a wedding party, right? Not like a bachelorette. Like they had the whole wedding party. All the bachelors and all the bachelorettes come together for a little shindig, a little get together. She said it was on her and her husband's dime, right? She said, we paid for everything. We got the hotel rooms. I guess they're well off. We got the hotel rooms. We took care of everything. All they had to do was show up and hang out. She said that her husband has a very tight friend circle, but they're kind of immature. Hey, dudes are dudes, right? They're kind of immature. They said that at the bachelorette party, one of the friends, one of the bachelors, brought a remote control fart machine. You know them, so they're about yay big. It's just a speaker in a box, and then you have a remote control. You push the button, it makes a fart.
Oh,
sound.
so this is just about sound. It's not about smell.
Correct.
Okay. All right.
Correct.
All right.
Said that throughout the course of this party, the friend who brought it would put it into her purse or under her chair in routine places and would wait for what she describes as the most traumatic, which makes me to believe the most hilarious times to set off this fart machine during their bridal party. She said at one point she had just gotten done giving a speech to the party about how in love she was and how great John is and how he treats her like a queen and how everything is amazing. And as soon as I finished my speech, but right before the applause started, my man mashed the fart machine button. So it ended with, and I know that I will be the happiest woman in the world with John as my husband. She said, I uninvited him. I kicked him out of John's bachelor party. I kicked him out of the bridal party, and he is now not invited to the wedding. I did this without telling John, who is now telling me, my friend will be at the wedding or I will not be. It's your choice. He's not going to marry her if she doesn't re-invite his buddy who hit her with the fart machine at a bridal party during the speech.
All right. The bride-to-be is the heel in this situation. Let me explain to you why. Because she knows the immaturity of his friends, which means he has the same immaturity. And the fact that that machine was let off during that, he probably laughed about it. He probably thought it was funny. She knew what she was getting into. She's apparently wanting to marry into this immaturity. So this is on her. because she should know that this is the kind of thing not only is she going to get now, but for the rest of her life. So this is on her.
Yeah. Listen.
What did I shock you there? I mean, because
No, not at all. Ladies, I am going to give you a piece. I'm going to give both the ladies and the fellas a piece of advice. And I don't care what the structure of your relationship is. All right. I don't care if it's man, woman, woman, man, woman. It doesn't matter. I'm going to give you all some advice here. Ladies, by and large, you are going to look at a man. You're going to see the flaws in him, and you're going to think, I'm going to help him change. I'm going to help him change. I'm going to help him be better. No, you're not. No, you're not. You may be able to change a couple of little habits here and there, right? I used to like to sleep when it's cold outside with my windows open. I don't do that anymore because the lady friend doesn't want that. She doesn't like it. Okay, fine. However, despite her efforts to the contrary, Courtney has tried to break me from becoming the guy, Zoe, that when I come home and I take off my pants, do you know where they go? On the couch in the man cave. They just go on the couch. I'll get them when I get them.
It's kind of an upgrade. I thought it was going to be in the floor. I mean,
No.
at least you're not a Neanderthal. They're
No.
on the couch.
They're not on the floor. They go on the couch in the man cave, and I'll get it. And sometimes a couple of pairs might stack up on top of each other before I get to them. She hates it. She's like, why can't you just put them away? So I don't want to. I took my pants off to signal it as the end of me doing things. I'm not doing anymore. I will do it later. And I will. I always do. On the flip side, fellas, you're going to start dating a lady and you're going to think she'll start coming around. She'll start seeing it my way. No, she won't. No, she won't. She's never going to. She will compromise on certain things, but she is not going to change. If she's the type of person who, when she gets done eating dinner, she has to immediately do the dishes, right? And you think, like you're like me, so when I get done eating, I don't want to do the dishes right now. I want to enjoy the meal I just ate. I want to let it digest. I want to relax for a minute, watch 30 minutes of brain dead TV. Then I'll get the dishes. She's like, nope, got to do them now. They can't sit in the sink. Got to do them now. And we have never come eye to eye on that, right? Because even when I'm like, I'll do the dishes, she can't sit and relax knowing that they're in the sink. Apparently that throws off the vibe of the room. I don't know. You either find someone that those little traits you can tolerate and live with, or you don't. If you, ladies, get with a guy who hangs out with guys who thinks that fart machines are funny, you're not going to change that. And by the way, they're hilarious. But you're not going to change that. If you go on a date with a dude and somebody pops off a fart machine and he giggles, he's going to giggle for the rest of his life at that fart machine. You are not going to have him wake up one day and go, I've come to a realization that fart machines aren't funny anymore. It's not going to happen. Too many people end up in uncomfortable. Lady, you knew that this guy giggles at fart machines. And you know that his buddies are the fart machine kind of guys. So why were you surprised and shocked? Now, it's not to say time and place. I would have a problem, say, if dude dropped the fart machine at the end of the vows, right? Do you? I do. Do you? I do. You may kiss the bride. I might have a little problem with that, depending on how nice the ceremony is, right? I might have a minor problem with that. But he did it at the bridal party. A party. It's a party. You don't want to be a party. Don't call it a party. Call it a bridal gathering, a bridal get-together. But he laughed at fart machines when you started dating him. You can't be mad at him for fart machines now. At least not to the point that like, hey, one of your best friends won't be at your wedding because he aggravated me with a fart machine. Well, you started dating a fart machine guy. Welcome to it. All right, last one, Lonzo, and then we'll skip on over and get out of here. 37-year-old woman and a 41-year-old man have two kids. They've got a 14-year-old daughter and a 10-year-old son. Said that their daughter is a little socially awkward, but she's getting by. She's in middle school, and she just started making new friends at middle school. Well, she made a new friend her age who started coming by, started coming over for dinners and whatnot. The friend came over. My husband is usually the cook in the family, and this night was no exception. He made us a really nice meal. During the course of the meal, I asked my daughter's friend, "Are you enjoying the food?" She responded, "Yes, your husband is a great cook. No wonder you've ended up a bigger woman." I also went, "Ooh." She said the room got quiet for several moments. My husband laughed it off and tried to change the subject, but I wasn't having it. The girl had just leveled a completely uncalled for insult at me. My daughter's friend seemed to realize that she messed up, but she didn't say anything else. We finished an awkward dinner, mostly in silence, and my daughter's friend did stay the night. That was a couple of months ago, and I tried to let it go. Recently, my daughter asked if she could have her friend back over, and I told her, sure, as long as she apologizes to me. When our daughter asked what I meant, I reminded her what she said. The daughter responded, it was over. Everybody let it go, and we shouldn't bring it up again. Dad said, sure, she can come over. I said, if she apologizes. Daughter's friend said she was just trying to make a joke. It didn't land. Let it go. Dad said she's right. It was a bad joke. It went sideways. You got to let this one go. Mom is standing her ground. She can come over after she apologizes to me. It's a 14-year-old girl. She's demanding an apology out of Lonzo. Face move, heel move.
The girl's 14. She should know better, first of all.
But 14-year-olds are dumb.
Yeah, well, I
used
mean,
to be one.
I mean, and the fact that she said it was just a joke meant it was intentional. So it wasn't a, misspeaking, and it, in your head it sounded one way, and then you say it and it sounds totally different. Something that never happens to either one of us, but I've heard it happen other places. So the mom's a heel. She is. I mean, be the adult, be forgiving, show the daughter that, sometimes people do things and say things that they shouldn't say, and that you need to be the bigger person and show forgiveness and let it go.
Yeah, if the girl's like 24, I'm probably okay with this, right? If the girl's in her 20s, I probably got a problem with it. She's 14, dude. Relax. Let it go. Let it go. I agree. I thought maybe we might disagree on this one. Because here's the thing. I understand the mom, but here's the thing the mom didn't consider. You listed in your story that your daughter is socially awkward. Do you know who tends to become friends with socially awkward people? Other socially awkward people, right? Other socially awkward people tend to gravitate to each other. Because if you're socially awkward with a group of people who aren't, it enhances how socially awkward you feel. But if you're socially awkward around other people who are socially awkward, you're no longer socially awkward. You're part of a group of people that have something in common. You don't stand out anymore, right? So your daughter's going to attract other socially awkward people. You know what the best way to prevent your daughter from getting worse about that is? Not to run off other kids because they are socially awkward. You teach her that, hey, look, she made a mistake. She knows it now. That's a sentence she'll never repeat to somebody else. Let's move on. That being said, it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny what she said, right? Like it would kill the wife.
How much bigger are we talking?
I don't know. She doesn't say. She doesn't say.
I'm curious as to what kind of food it was too. I'm just curious.
All right. Now let's take a break. That's enough of those. I thought I had a couple we were going to disagree on. I was 0 for. That's all good.
So you're making it sound like that you purposefully want us to fight over this kind of stuff. I think sometimes there are obvious choices, and then other times there's not. In that case, I mean, get over it. I get it, but get over it.
Respect that. Yeah, let's take a break. We'll come back here in just a couple of minutes.
My mom would have just told them off because she told off every friend I ever had. So, I mean, because we're all a bunch of smart alecks.
Your friends?
Yeah, I know. Hard to believe.
A little bit. Let's take a break. We're back after this. My name is Rob Brown. The great one Lonzo is on the other side of the glass. If you want to be a part of it, now's your chance. 844-FAN-PHONE, 844-FANEFONE. We're back on the flip side. The Rob Brown Show wraps up next. This is the Fan Upstate. Sorry, guys. Y'all deserve better.
So is there something? Look at the stream. There may be something. I couldn't find it, but there may be something we need to get rid of. I don't know. Like the third comment up.
I see it. Yeah.
Does that have? I don't know what that means. And did it have something below because of what Steven? So I went to the fan page and the stream is not working, even though it says it is.
Cool.
Which has me worried. Today is not as bad as he's making it out to be. We have salvaged it. We've turned it into a better thing than what it was.
Download the Odyssey app and search the Fan Upstate. Then listen anywhere on your phone. I'm Chuck Sanders, and that's your sports flash on the Fan Upstate. I'm Lamar East with NFL Network now on the Westwood One Radio Network. Tom Brady led a fourth quarter comeback as the Bucs beat the Saints 17-16.
We're still late in general.
Down 13 points. Brady threw 2 touchdown passes in the final.
We're ahead of schedule as for this show. Oh, we're very late. But for this show, simulations, the correct to see if you have any weekend plans, even though it's
4-7 quote and from
CBS. This has been NFL Network now on the Westwood One Radio Network. It's time to gear up for the holiday season. Head over to NFLShop.com today for the largest selection of officially licensed gear from all your favorite brands. NFL Shop is your ultimate gifting destination for jerseys, t-shirts, headwear, and more. Take your game day style to the next level with the best selection of NFL gear anywhere. Show off your team pride this holiday season with styles fit for the whole family. To shop now, go to NFLShop.com.
Paying too much for wireless and getting lousy customer service. With Red Pocket Mobile, you get the same coverage and top-tier customer service for lots less. Get unlimited talk, text, and data for as low as $10 a month. Red Pocket Mobile saves customers an average of $600 a year. You don't even have to leave your house to switch. Simply go to redpocket.com. Right now, during their extended Black Friday sale, ditch your old carrier and get a new iPhone on Red Pocket. Go to redpocket.com. That's redpocket.com. Conditions apply.
It's the most wonderful time of the year, and that can only mean one thing. It's the return of the Teddy Bear Toss with the Greenville Swamp Rabbits on Saturday, December 10th. Grab your tickets today at swamprabbits.com.
Ray Magliotti here for eBay Motors. So you ordered a new air filter for your car. You try to install it, but it doesn't.
Consider it breaking news. Never mind. That's 22 hours long. So no, you would not. It's the time first, Ritzel, dummy.
I wanted to know why some people who get COVID-19 get it so bad. I found out it may be because they have a high risk factor, such as heart disease, diabetes, being overweight, smoking, and asthma. Even if symptoms feel
Well, that's 23 seconds long. JT Daniels to enter transfer portal.
From West Virginia.
Uh-huh.
This is his second transfer. He left Georgia.
The former USC and Georgia quarterback is reportedly on the move again. Yeah. There's at least 1 year of eligibility remaining. I did, Trey, and we're going to talk about it Thursday because it is one of the best fights I've ever seen. And even the commentators were saying the same thing. It was a great fight. It could have been a different fight if Holland would have decided to take it to the ground, but he didn't. And I love how it was billed, Kung Fu versus karate, and it was awesome. And it's nice that Stephen Thompson won, too. But Holland broke his hand, so.
face though. He earned a win.
So what happens when you go toe to toe a little bit? You're gonna get some of that.
Talked a lot of transfer portal today. JT Daniels is back in the portal again. JT transferred from SC to Georgia, is now transferring, or then transferred from Georgia to West Virginia, and now will transfer from West Virginia to somewhere else. He'll get picked up by somebody. But I get it, man. Look, he showed up at West Virginia at a point where it looked like West Virginia was on the way up. They were not. Now JT's going to go somewhere else.
I'm curious, if you're an NFL scout and you're looking at this sort of thing, does it bother you when they're starting to go from school to school to school? Does that, I mean, do you ask them that when you're doing interviews? Are you going to be a steady guy here because you weren't happy here and you went here, and you weren't happy there and you went here? Why is that?
I mean, you can certainly ask what it was that made you transfer, but whether or not transferring is viewed as a negative is subjective.
It's like job jumping.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm a potential employer and I'm looking at a guy, okay, you stayed here 6 months and then you went here. Why'd you go here? Why'd you go here? Why should I hire you? How long would you work for me?
But I mean, I guess as Liberob, I would flip the script on that, and I'd be able to say, well, because I did this job there and they didn't pay me for the value that I put in, right? Like, it's one thing if you get paid to be a radio host. It's another thing to show up and go, but I also can produce and engineer and call screen and go on remote and be my own tech and run the inventory room. And I can do all those things, but I only got paid as a show host, and this new job paid me as a show host and a producer. So I went there instead, right? Like, are you giving me the value I'm giving you? And I think it's fair to say JT's not in his own mind.
And now, the Rob Brown Show presents Twitter Trending Topics.
All right, time for Twitter Trending Topics, where I tell Rob what is trending, and he will tell us why it is trending. The first thing that's trending is Dwarf Fortress.
I got nothing.
I got to admit, I saw it was trending, and I didn't realize that I had never said these two words together.
Neither have I.
And that it's an amazing thing. Dwarf Fortress. It's a game that's out on Steam, and for some reason it's a lot of people are excited about it, including I saw one tweet where people were hoarding mermaid bones and they had to fix the game because they were killing off mermaids to sell their bones. Dwarf Fortress is trending. So there you go.
I don't know what that is or what it's about, but
cool. I found it exciting. All right. The next thing that's trending, and that's all I care about is me, is Barry Windham.
Of course, Bray Wyatt.
No, Barry Windham
is the son of Barry Windham.
Okay. All right.
But I have no idea why he's trying.
He is currently in ICU, and a lot of wrestlers are reaching out, asking for thoughts and prayers because I guess he's not doing too well.
Well, that's a bummer, man. It's about IRS, baby. IRS was an interesting gimmick that actually got over somehow.
Would not work today though, because people would not want this. Well, I guess
they would. They just actively be heels, no doubt.
That is true. All right. The next thing that's trending is Linda Carter.
Wonder Woman is trending. Does it have something to do with Wonder Woman? Don't tell me she's dying too.
No,
Okay.
not that from what I can tell, the only reason why I can
birthday, maybe?
is she's trending because someone wanted her to trend, which happens sometimes.
I accept that.
People decide, hey, they're not trending. And I did see a comparison side by side between her and Gal Gadot. And people were trying to pick which one was the better Wonder Woman. And I think there's no comparison. Gal Gadot is a better Wonder Woman.
I don't think I can agree with that.
Yeah, and I was a kid in the 70s when Linda Carter was Wonder Woman. Gal Gadot has fluidity to her motion. She embodies everything that is Wonder Woman, and Linda Carter was just a supermodel that they stuck in a bikini or one piece. I guess it's a one piece.
I will not stand by for this Linda Carter slander. I won't allow it. I refuse to allow it. Not a chance. Lonzo, do better.
Gal all the way, man.
Do better. All right, that's it for us, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back tomorrow. I'll do better. Jim Rome's up next to take you in the jungle. You'll go offsides with Mark Ryan at 3. 21-hour break.
Wait, why didn't you say N Diesel?
Mark Ryan and Diesel will be here at 3 to go offsides with you. 21-hour break, and we're back after that. Appreciate those of you listening. I met a guy, Kevin, at the Swamp Rabbits game. I forgot to say this yesterday. He walks up and he goes, "Are you Rob Brown?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "I love your show. You dudes are freaking crazy." So, you know, we got that going for us, which is nice. See you back here tomorrow on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. Later, brother. All right, stream. That show sucked, and I apologize for it. I will be better tomorrow. I hope you all have a lovely day, and we will see you then. Adios.